Hello! Thanks for clicking on this video. So I had a lot of requests, friends and family who wanted to know how they can make their own face mask at home. With everything going on in the world, you know, we've all been recommended to wear face masks when we go out in public. So there's been a huge demand for face masks. I'm going to be working with 100% cotton materials today, and I'm even going to show you how to make a mask to add a filter in. I am going to do, this is a two-part video, so this is obviously going to be part one. Part one is going to be how to use a sewing machine and make your own mask. Funny story is this is not even my own sewing machine. I don't own a sewing machine. Hopefully I can get one soon, but my friend was kind enough to lend me this machine during all of this. So I completely understand if you do not have a machine. These things are expensive and sold out most places by now. So if that's the case, part two is going to be how to hand sew your own mask. So yeah, if you are curious to see how I have been sewing my own face mask at home with a sewing machine, then just keep watching. Alright, you guys, so for the first step, we're going to go ahead and take our first piece of fabric and fold over one of the longer sides, roughly about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my fabric pin and just pin that over. So next, we're going to go ahead and bring the fabric over to our sewing machine, and we're going to go ahead and drop the presser foot, and we're just going to do a straight seam. So here in just a second, I'm going to stop sewing because we still have a pin in our fabric. So you want to make sure that you don't sew over that fabric pin and you go ahead and take it out to finish the seam. Once you are done sewing, it should look just like a straight line across. And we are going to go ahead and take our seam ripper and just start to cut off the extra pieces of thread that are hanging from either side to just kind of clean up everything. And then you're going to go ahead and repeat that process for that second piece of fabric. Okay, so now it's time to grab your paracord or your t-shirt strips, whatever you're using. You're going to take those two pieces of fabric that you just sewed a seam through, and you're going to actually put the two pretty sides on top of each other. And here I'm just kind of lining up the fabric to make sure everything is even. We are going to sew over this, so you want the ends to be as close to even as possible. I'm going to go ahead and take my fabric pins, and I'm just going to pin the opposite end of where we're going to begin sewing, just to kind of help me keep the fabric together as I'm putting it through the machine. So you're going to take one of your ties, and you're just going to put it inside between the two pieces of fabric, and it's just going to be hanging right off the first corner. So we're going to go ahead and flip that fabric over. Again, I like to kind of just straighten it up. And then we will be ready to go ahead and put it through the machine. And it's kind of a hard angle to see exactly what I'm doing here, but again, just sewing a straight line from that top corner about almost leaving 1/4 of the fabric at the bottom, and then I'm going to take my next strip, and if it helps, you can actually lift up your presser foot to slide that strip under, and it's going to go on the corner right below the the first strip that you inserted. So that's pretty much as hard as it gets. We're gonna do that for all 4 corners. And just remember that as you're going, you want to make sure that the other ends of the strips that are hanging, that they're out of the way and you're not sewing over them. So as I'm going and turning my fabric to sew through each corner, I am kind of rotating the strips away from where I'm sewing. So this mask pattern in particular, the very top of the mask is going to actually remain open, and that is so that way you can add a filter if you would like. So just you're just going to sew the first corner, the bottom under that corner, the one to the left, and then the top corner, and then just leave that top part open. Again, just taking our seam ripper and taking off all the extra thread. So the next step that I'm going to be doing here is something that I just prefer to do. I don't think it's necessary, but I feel like it helps me with getting the fabric through the machine. So you're going to grab your scissors. The extra tie that you see sticking out, you're just going to go ahead and clip that from all 4 corners. And I like to do this because as I'm pushing it through the machine, it helps keep the tension of my machine level, I guess. And it just kind of helps the fabric glide through smoothly. Now we're going to go ahead and pull our mask to where it is right side out, and just make sure all of your ties are out. And yeah, so right now we have a functional mask with a pocket, like a filter pocket, which is awesome. So this next step here is actually a zoomed in version of what I'm about to do in the machine. So you're going to take your seam ripper and you're going to use this to make the pleats on your mask. This is kind of a tip that has gone viral with the uproar of the mask making. So you're going to go ahead and take your seam ripper and put the fabric in between the 2 prongs, and you're going to kind of twist the seam ripper in your hand forward or backward to create that pleat. And that's actually what you're going to do in the machine. So again, taking that seam ripper, and the traditional pleat number is 3. Typically people do 3 pleats. So you're just going to put that fabric in between the seam ripper and twist the seam ripper forward, and then I'm just going to pull the seam ripper out. You don't want to sew over that. Pull that out, and then with your other hand holding that pleat down in place, you're going to kind of guide it through the machine. And then, and I leave about an inch between each of my pleats. Some people mark it with a marker, and yes, like I probably should do that, but I just kind of eyeballed it here. I went ahead and did those pleats with the seam ripper on the other side as well, and then cleaned it up by cutting the extra fabric off. And then there we have it. We have our final mask. So you have your pocket for your filter, your 3 pleats, and your ties. So here I just did a quick little demonstration, because we all love demonstrations, on how to put the mask on. So you're just going to do a top tie and then a bottom tie, kind of more around your neck. And then, of course, we don't always want to wear a ponytail, so I did go ahead and flip my hair out, keeping the ties under my hair. So this is what it looks like. Alright guys, so that concludes my how to sew your own mask with the sewing machine. I hope this helps someone. If you would, please share this video. There's a ton of people out there that you know, are looking for videos like this to help protect themselves. So I would really appreciate it if you could give this a like and share. I am going to be doing another part 2 video of how to sew by hand. So if you don't have a sewing machine, don't worry, I completely get it. I'm going to make a video just for you. So if you are looking forward to seeing that part 2, then please subscribe, and I will have that video up shortly. Thanks so much, guys. Stay safe and healthy, and I will see you very soon.